From having world champion John Jones as his college roommate to breaking records, we're going to dive into how Colby Covington trains for his fights. Get ready, fight fans, because we're taking an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the intense training regimen of one of the most controversial and talked-about fighters in the UFC, Colby Covington. Love him or hate him, there's no denying that Covington is a force to be reckoned with in the octagon, and his dedication and discipline to his craft is a huge part of his success. This American mixed martial artist has been making waves in the UFC's welterweight division for years, thanks to his incredible skills inside the octagon. But how did Covington become the fighter that he is today? Well, it all started with his background in wrestling. Covington was a standout wrestler at Thurston High School in Oregon, winning the state championship as a senior. He then went on to dominate the wrestling scene at Iowa Central Community College, winning a national junior college wrestling title with a perfect record of 34-0. That's right, he didn't lose a single match. But Covington's journey wasn't without its bumps in the road, including an arrest for DUI and eluding police that led to a suspension from the University of Iowa's wrestling program. However, he didn't let that setback stop him and eventually found his way to Oregon State University, where he became a two-time Pac-10 conference champion and earned All-American honors. It's as clear as day that dedication and commitment played a vital role in his success. Covington's wrestling career was not only impressive, but he also had some pretty impressive company along the way. One of his roommates while he was in college was none other than the UFC heavyweight champion John Jones. It's amazing to think that these two future MMA stars were once just college kids sharing a room, but it just goes to show that greatness can come from unexpected places. Covington's time as a wrestler undoubtedly helped him develop the skills and discipline needed to become a top fighter in the UFC. Where does he train, you ask? Colby Covington has been making big moves ever since he left American Top Team behind, and it looks like he's found a new home in MMA Masters. The Florida-based gym has proven to be the perfect fit for Covington, who has shown remarkable progress in his striking, cardio, and grappling since joining the team. In fact, training alongside Cesar Carneiro, the renowned capoeira coach, has done wonders for Covington's stand-up game. Carneiro has helped him add new weapons to his striking arsenal, making him an even more well-rounded fighter. But Carneiro isn't the only one who's helped Covington level up. Daniel Valverde, the judo black belt who's been running MMA Masters alongside Carneiro for more than a decade, has been instrumental in Covington's offensive grappling improvements. With Valverde in his corner, Covington has become an even more dangerous wrestler, and his ground and pound game has become even more devastating. It's not just Covington who's been training at MMA Masters, though. The gym has been home to a number of notable UFC fighters, including martial arts veteran Ricardo Lamas and the always entertaining Nate Landwehr. With such a stacked roster of fighters, it's clear that MMA Masters is a force to be reckoned with in the UFC. As Covington is most likely preparing for an upcoming fight against newly crowned welterweight champion Leon Edwards, it's clear that both Carneiro and Valverde will be key players in his performance. The two coaches have helped him reach new heights in his fighting career, and they no doubt hope to see him make history by becoming MMA Masters' first ever UFC champion in the future. Will Covington come out on top in his next fight? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, he's got an impressive team behind him, and his coaches have been a great source for letting us know how he trains to get there. He had been preparing hard with head coaches Daniel Valverde and Cesar Carneiro for his fight against his longtime rival Tyron Woodley at UFC Vegas 11. Valverde and Carneiro have known Colby for years and were thrilled when he reached out to join their team. They've been watching Colby's career since the beginning and have always had a great relationship with him. Now, you might be wondering why Colby decided to partner with two Brazilians after all the verbal attacks he's made against South America in the past. But for Valverde, it was a no-brainer. He knows that Colby is a different person off camera and that he's just playing a role when he's in front of the cameras. Valverde has nothing but good things to say about working with Colby. He describes him as a soldier who is very respectful and willing to do anything the coaches ask him to do.
Whatever you tell him to do, he'll do it. A week after his fight, he in Vegas, he was back in the gym training. And he's training hard, he's working hard, and we're very happy to have Colby there. We're helping him to improve his game. I know Colby for a long time because we from Florida, you know.
Do this kick 100 times, Valverde tells him, and Colby will do it without hesitation. What do you want me to do today, coach? He'll ask. I want you to do this and that. Yes, sir, Colby will reply. As a collegiate wrestler and a two-time Pac-10 champion, it's no surprise that Covington's fighting style heavily revolves around wrestling and grappling. He's a master at taking his opponents down and controlling them on the ground, where he looks for ground and pound as well as submissions. But don't underestimate his striking game, because when he's standing, he's constantly putting pressure on his opponents with his punches and kicks. And get this, he purposely overextends on his punches to transition from striking to a takedown attempt. That's some next-level strategy right there, folks. Colby Covington is a force to be reckoned with inside the octagon, and his dominant performance against Robbie Lawler in August of 2019 proves just that. In that Fight Night main event, Covington threw a whopping 541 strikes, breaking the current record for strikes thrown. And if that wasn't impressive enough, he landed an incredible 201 of them. He also attempted 18 takedowns and completed 10 of them, completely dominating the fight from the start.
Huge takedown here. As you see, he throws 2 punches, drops down, changes levels. Boom. Throws punches again, drops down, changes levels. I mean, it's just real nice how he's throwing a couple nice uppercuts, hooks, straights, and then he drops down right there.
In a recent interview with Iole, Colby spoke about his incredible cardio and how it allows him to maintain intense pressure on his opponents without getting fatigued. "Yeah, I don't get tired. People, they call me Cardio King for a reason. I got a second lung, you know," he said confidently. For Covington, true dominance in the octagon is not just about knocking someone out with a lucky punch, but about breaking them down and beating them from the very first second to the final minute of the fight. His intense cardio allows him to maintain an insane pace over 5 rounds, making him one of the toughest fighters to take on in the octagon. Love him or hate him, Colby Covington is certainly a controversial figure in the UFC. If you're wondering why he's so widely disliked, just take a look at some of the things he's said and done in the past. For starters, after a fight at UFC Sao Paulo, Covington referred to Brazilian fans as filthy animals, a comment that understandably didn't go over well with many. He's also faced criticism for his comments about female fighters, in which he's made derogatory remarks about their physical appearance. But it's not just his words that have landed him in hot water. During an altercation in Australia, Covington was also hit in the head with a boomerang thrown by fellow fighter Fabricio Verdum. And if that wasn't enough, he's also earned the dismay of Star Wars and Avengers fans everywhere by purposely spoiling the endings on social media. And then there are the fans. Covington is no stranger of calling out his haters, often referring to them as Cheetos-eating dorks in their mom's basement. Colby has been rather quiet on his diet for how he keeps fit, though he has admitted in the past to chowing down on pizza and sushi. Perhaps he's a Cheeto lover himself, who knows? While some may find his trash talk entertaining, others view it as juvenile and disrespectful. Regardless how you feel about Colby Covington, there's no denying that he's a polarizing figure in the world of mixed martial arts. But as we've seen before, when you talk a lot, you also have to back it up. And when you're as ruthless as he is when it comes to trash talking, it seems wise to train as hard as you can.